Hello again, Kingston Town Administrator Keith Hickey with the latest edition of This Week in Kingston for the week ending February 28th, 2025. Hope everybody is well. Sorry I wasn't on giving everybody an update last week. I had some conflicts and just couldn't make a time work, so I apologize for that. Some budget updates for everybody. Right now, as we sit, the Board of Selectmen will have a board meeting on the 25th of September to discuss a number of things, including get an update on the annual town meeting budget. Right now, as we sit, the Kingston School Department budget is just under $900,000. Would need an override if approved, if brought forward as presented. It would need an override to support that budget by just under $900,000. The Kingston School Committee is going to be meeting on Monday, March 2nd, to finalize their fiscal 26 budget. I assume part of that conversation will be whether or not to apply an additional $550,000 that will be coming in to the school district, half of it in April and another half in August, to offset some of the costs associated with providing additional supporting additional costs for some of the temporary students that are going through the Kingston schools. So as I mentioned, $550,000, about $225,000 in April, and another $225 in or $250, excuse me, in August. So they've got some decisions to make there. If they use that $500,000, that would bring their budget deficit down to about $400,000, and the school committee would then have to decide whether they're going to make cuts or increase fees, or potentially ask the Board of Selectmen to support a Proposition 2.5 override on the warrant. The Silver Lake School Committee met last week. They're meeting again tonight, the 25th of February, to finalize their budget and finalize their shared expenses. They have committed last week to have no more of an increase than 2.8%. So the additional 1.2% that made up the 4% increase and estimated increase in the Kingston School Department budget, that those funds have been transferred over from Silver Lake into the Kingston budget to get their deficit down to about $900,000. So the Silver Lake School Committee will finalize their budget, I assume, tonight, with some final discussions and decisions. Silver Lake, as I mentioned, will be discussing their final budget on March 2nd, Monday night. And then the Board of Selectmen will be having a special Board of Selectmen meeting on Thursday evening, March 5th. And the primary reason for that meeting, I'm sorry, Thursday, March 6th, I apologize. The primary topic for that meeting will be to finalize the budget after hearing the final budgets from Silver Lake and the Kingston schools. Overall, the Board of Selectmen has to decide potentially if they're going to support an override for the schools. They also need to have a conversation and decision on whether or not they're going to support an override for the police department. So those will be the main talking points, I assume, on Thursday evening. Tonight, the Board of Selectmen will have a meeting on February 25th. There's a number of things on the agenda. We have the introduction of a new permanent intermittent police officer by the name of William Glenn. So the the police chief will introduce him to the board. We have a public hearing on the consideration of acceptance of Captain Jones Way and Barrows Brook Road Circle. Those two roads are in the Jones River Estates. The owners are looking to have those two roads accepted by town meeting in April, and this is one of the pieces to having that done. There's also a public hearing on considering adding a second name to the aquaculture leases, numbers 2 and 3, from the Shellfish Constable. We have a number of razor clam license renewals that will be considered tonight, and then we also have a request from the Cape Cod Getaway event to approve their activities through Kingston. One of the topics tonight that make sure people are aware of is there's been a request submitted to myself and the Board of Selectmen to consider modifying the townhouse hours to a 4-day work week rather than a 4.5-day work week. What that would entail is having the townhouse open. Um, um, Typically normal hours during the week. We closed all completely on Fridays unless you had a special appointment. Employees would take a half an hour lunch instead of an hour lunch and still be open to 35 hours per week. Um, from the employee's point of view, obviously it's a benefit, and no question about that. From my point of view, one of the reasons the board, I would hope would at least consider the request is for recruitment. As I'm sure many of you are aware, if you're trying to hire new employees, um, some sort of unique benefit that stands out may be the reason that a person is attracted to come to Kingston versus going to another community or another business in general. A lot of communities now, I shouldn't say a lot, some communities now are looking to move to a 4-day work week. The town of Hull has recently moved to a 4-day work week, as well as some other South Shore communities. Um, and it may be a recruiting tool that would be the benefit for the town. We're in the process of implementing online permitting in a much broader sense than we have currently available to people. So some of the things that you would have had to come to the townhouse for, you should no longer need to be able to do that moving forward in the future. Um, Once we finish up with that topic, we'll ask the board to officially open the annual town meeting warrant. Town meeting is going to be held on Saturday, April 26th. Right now, we have about 25 or 26 tentative articles that we'll consider: operating budgets for general fund, water, sewer, some zoning amendments, things of that nature. A lot of the typical things. So that'll be opening up tonight. That closes in March. So there's plenty of time for anybody who wants to put a petitioned article on the warrant to be able to do that. We have the Council on Aging coming forward asking to form a task force for the age and dementia friendly study that will be ongoing in the near future. Starting in the near future. If you recall, the town received a grant for this study, and we're looking to appoint a number of people to a study committee to assist in this process to ideally have Kingston be identified as a age and dementia friendly community. We have a couple of donations for the board to consider accepting. We also have a quick update on the fiscal 26 budget. I talked about that, I think, already in the beginning. We have the need, as we sit today, for a Proposition 2.5 override for the schools. There's also been some discussion, as you're probably aware, to seek a Proposition 2.5 override for the police department. We'll just give the board an update on where things stand as we sit here today, and get them prepared for next Thursday's final budget meeting. And then lastly, on the agenda tonight, we have a reappointment to the Kingston Educational Fund for the trustees. So we have a reappointment there, so which is helpful. But a couple of other things going on after tonight's meeting to make you aware of. Again, we have dog licenses that are due now. If you want to get your dog license for your dog prior to getting potentially a fine, I'd urge you to come in and do that as quickly as you can. We have our town elections on May 17th, Saturday, May 17th at the elementary school. We have a number of positions that are will be on the ballot. All those positions are listed on the town website. If you have any interest in running for the several openings on boards and commissions, we'd love to have you come in, pick up some nomination papers, fill those out, and get those back to the town clerk's office. There's a lot of opportunities to find an interest that you may have in one of the town boards and try to run for office and make your feelings known. We would certainly appreciate you taking the time to do that. Those are some of the big things that are going on in town. Again, urge you to try to stay informed. There's some really challenging votes for preparation for the annual town meeting. Um, Input from everybody, either in person or via uh, media, email, is very much appreciated. So please try to reach out to a school committee member, a board of selectmen member, or myself. We'd be happy to try to answer any questions and certainly take your concerns back to the board of selectmen and the school committee for your consideration. The capital planning committee is looking to finalize their warrant article. So a lot of things going on. FinCom still is um, reviewing items. They'll be meeting on the 5th. The Fin and the capital planning will be meeting on the 12th of March. So please try to stay tuned for those. And if you have any questions or concerns, again, reach out. We'd be happy to take those questions and concerns to the appropriate board. So with that, I want to thank everybody very much for watching. Please stay in touch and in tune with what's happening, and make your feelings known on the variety of topics we talked about just now. So with that, I want to thank you for watching and hope you have a great day.